A little over 4 years ago, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I started with 5th edition. I had like 2 sessions in one of my friends' campaigns, and then that ended abruptly. I already had a friend group that wanted to play D&D, so I said, screw it, I'm gonna do it myself, and I started planning my own D&D campaign. I continued this Dungeon Master journey of mine that has turned into a podcast, and then a stream, and then a YouTube channel, and in 4 crazy years, I've been on this ride of ups and downs that I've compiled into 11 lessons for this video. First off is short sessions are better. And now when I first started playing D&D, I had this inkling of what if I took like the 3 to 4 hours of Critical Role and I made it into an all-day session. Remember, there would be so many nights where we would just go all day, and it was so taxing on not only my body but also my mental health. And then realized that I've been more energetic and been more excited to play D&D when the games are shorter, and also your players will thank you as well. The next thing is starting with a pre-made module. Now, I didn't really know how to write a story. I didn't really know anything about what I had to plan for. I just thought that I could just script things. That didn't really work out, and I didn't really have any expectation of what to do, so a few campaigns at the very beginning were just me fumbling around trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. I recently just ran my first ever pre-made module, which is Curse of Strahd. You can also find that on the YouTube channel. After running that session, I realized that I should have ran a pre-made module at least once when I first started. Everything is planned out. You have more control and creativity because you have things to work with, and even though that it is a book or something that someone can Google, you can always change something as a DM. So start with a pre-made module, you'll thank me later, and then once you get the hang of that, then you can start writing your own homebrew game. The third thing is learning how to steal. Now, learning how to steal is probably one of my biggest things because I had this insecurity that everything had to be original, and then I realized that even though that this is original to me, it's actually a copy of something else which was also inspired by something else. And so I realized, why not just look at YouTube videos, movies, or books, or anime even. I can just take that, copy, paste it into my game, and then play around with the ideas of what would this thing be like, but in D&D form. And I think I've done that with a lot of things. I've done it with League of Legends, Danganronpa, and all that good stuff, but learn how to steal. The fourth thing is a little bit personal because it means being less serious. I remember I was being so gung-ho. I was treating it like some sort of sporting event. In fact, actually, I would also get really mad. It felt like nothing I did was really interesting to the players. Part of being a dungeon master is learning how to have fun. And if you're going to be a dungeon master for a very long time, more than 5-10 years, hopefully, God willing, learn how to be less serious and treat it like a game. D&D is a game at the end of the day. I think that everyone should learn how to live life a little bit less serious. The fifth thing, and this is bonkers when you hear it, and I can't believe I still did that, but do not script your sessions. I had this whole telltale route in my brain of the first few campaigns, and what I did was I had options, I had encounters, and then I had results. Kind of like the whole Telltale games work if you are a gamer, and it was a railroaded adventure. My players had fun, but they didn't like the idea of not having options. Scripting your sessions to the very nitty-gritty detail is objectively a waste of time. Your players are probably not going to remember all of those details. Focus on the bigger things and save yourself a lot of time. If you want to write a lot of details and you want to script things, you might as well be writing a book or a movie or a YouTube video. To pair this is writing outlines. Writing outlines is probably the biggest thing that I feel like I keep repeating on this YouTube channel, but basically outlines save my butt because it doesn't matter how one person gets from A to point B, but it might be scribbled or it might be just a straight line. You never really know, especially with your party. You can probably summarize every single facility in a city in one sentence each. Play with your close friends. Now, I ran my first D&D group with a few players from my current group that is on my weekly D&D stream. Be sure to subscribe if you want to check that out. I also ran D&D for another group that I was really fond of, and it wasn't very comfortable. And it's nothing against the player group, but it felt like I was putting all of this unnecessary pressure on myself to perform like I was an actor, and I'm clearly not an actor. I really think that playing with your close friends made the whole experience much more fun and more easy. And if you mess up, there's criticism, but it's all in good fun. You're much more willing to make mistakes. Playing with your close friends is really fun when they also understand some of your humor and your own mindset, and I think it's something that everyone should do, at least at the beginning. Every group and every game is different, and this is kind of going back to my other friend group that I ran D&D with. I ran like 2 or 3 sessions, and then half the players canceled on me. Obviously, every game is different because the players are different, but what the players want to do is really dependent. Some groups only like combat, some groups only like roleplay. You have to balance between what you like and what the players like, but at the end of the day, it's a different experience for everybody playing the game, so keep that in mind whenever you're running D&D. Number 9 is be okay with not knowing. Be okay with not knowing what is going to happen to the things that you made, because sometimes your players will kill an NPC that you really liked or a really good villain. Maybe players will destroy a city that you really enjoyed making and it's the capital. These things can happen. These things are very possible in D&D. Instead of focusing on the result of it, be comfortable with the idea of giving your players permission to do things. Number 10 is taking more notes. Used to be really good at this when I was playing in person, but ever since switching to an online setup, it wasn't that great. Use those notes to keep your players on their toes. Now, the final one, number 11, is take more breaks. Now, I've been running D&D weekly for like as long as I can remember, probably more than a year now. There are people online who have probably ran like 3 games a week or 5 games a week. God bless those people. Sometimes I'll have writer's block where I don't want to do anything. I would rather take a break and then eventually come back to it versus forcing myself, because in the end, players will never understand the amount of work that you do because they don't see it. You really have to look at yourself and say, it's time for me to take a break and I will come back when I'm all ready to go. So that's it for this video. Be sure to subscribe because I make new videos every single week. I hope you have a fantastic day and I will see you in the next video. Peace.